knowledge or wisdom? Which one will you choose? We live in a world that's overflowing with knowledge. In fact, we are currently living in the most knowledgeable time in history. With just one click, you can access millions of answers, facts, and tutorials. There's so much to know, yet there's so much confusion. We have people who know a lot, but lack wisdom in their lives. We see brokenness, bad decisions, regrets, and missed opportunities. Why is it that with all this knowledge in our hands, we still see so many people messing up? Now, let me ask you this question. Do you know how to solve math equations? Do you know the rules of football? Do you know how to cook an exquisite meal? Do you know the right foods that you need to eat to stay healthy? Chances are that if you've been alive long enough, and especially if you have internet access, you probably know a lot of things. But there's a huge difference between knowing and actually doing. There's a big difference between knowing the theory and applying it in real life. Many of us want to succeed in life. Deep down, we all want to be happy, fulfilled, and have peace in our lives. Despite this common desire, many of us don't end up living the lives that we truly want to live. We miss out on happiness, fulfillment, and peace. And oftentimes, it has nothing to do with a lack of knowledge. In fact, sometimes the more we know, the more we complicate things. The truth is, we live in a world where everyone thinks they know it all. In fact, we're surrounded by people who have an answer to everything. These people might look like they have it all together, but behind closed doors, things may look very different. What many of us lack isn't knowledge. In fact, we have access to so much knowledge that sometimes it's actually overwhelming. Most of us know what we should do to reach our goals. Most of us know what's right and wrong. But what we often lack is wisdom, which is the ability to apply the right knowledge at the right time. Knowledge informs you, but wisdom transforms you. Knowledge can fill your head, but only wisdom can guide your life. In the book of Proverbs, King Solomon, who is known for his wisdom, writes, "Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil." Proverbs 26:12. He's telling us not to be arrogant, because we think we know it all. Instead, we should humble ourselves and acknowledge that we don't know everything. The reality is that no matter how much we know, there's always something more to learn. We should never stop being students. Being a lifelong learner is a beautiful thing. Solomon continues, "This will heal your lips and save you from falling." Proverbs 26:12. NLT. When we allow pride to take over, it's like a disease that eats away at our character. It's like a virus that infects our thinking and decision-making. A person who is wise is able to use knowledge in a way that is beneficial. A person who is wise is able to use their knowledge and apply it in a way that is both pleasing to God and beneficial to themselves and others. So here is the question. Do you have a heart for wisdom, or are you satisfied with knowledge? Knowledge puffs up, but wisdom brings peace. Let's take a look at the story of two very important figures in the Bible, King Solomon and King Nebuchadnezzar. King Solomon, the wisest man on earth, he asked God for wisdom. Listen to what he prayed. "Give me wisdom and knowledge, O Lord, that I may lead your people Israel, and that I may be able to discern between good and evil." 1 Kings 3:9. Notice how he didn't ask for wealth, power, or fame. He asked for the ability to make good decisions. This shows us that wisdom is realizing that you don't have all the answers. Wisdom is knowing when you need help and asking for it. Wisdom is being teachable. And most importantly, wisdom is having a heart that desires to please God. Now let's look at King Nebuchadnezzar. He was the king of the Babylonian Empire. He was powerful, wealthy, and had great influence. But despite all this, he became prideful and arrogant. Listen to what he said. "Is not this great Babylon that I have built by my power and for my honor?" Daniel 4:30. As he was saying these words, God took away his sanity. He turned the king into a beast. His body became like that of a wild animal. He ate grass like cattle and was wet with dew. For 7 years, he lived in this state until he learned a very important lesson. Humility is the key ingredient to true greatness. When we choose humility, we open the door for God to pour out his wisdom upon us. But when we choose pride, we block the flow of wisdom in our lives. So let me ask you again, do you have a heart for wisdom, or are you satisfied with knowledge? Knowledge puffs up, but wisdom brings peace. Knowledge can be misused, but wisdom always guides us in the right direction. Knowledge can make us self-sufficient, but wisdom keeps us dependent on God. Knowledge is important, but wisdom is life-changing. You see, knowledge is based on facts and information. It's what we know. On the other hand, wisdom is based on revelation and insight. It's what we understand and how we apply what we know. Imagine that you have a friend who knows all the best places to go dancing, eating, and shopping. They've shared this knowledge with you, but it's up to you to decide where you want to go. Maybe you don't have the money to spend like your friend. Maybe you don't like the same things, or maybe you have other plans. So even though your friend has knowledge, it's your wisdom that decides how you will use it. Let's look at another example. Imagine you're driving a car. The road is wet and slippery. Even though you may have driven on wet roads before, this particular road may be extra dangerous. In this situation, you would be wise to slow down, drive carefully, and be prepared for anything. Simply because you've driven before, it doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise caution. Just because you have knowledge doesn't mean you shouldn't use wisdom. Sometimes when we think we know it all, we fail to listen to others. But sometimes those who seem less experienced can offer valuable insights that we'd be wise to consider. A few years ago, I was working on a project and I thought I had everything under control. I was young and eager to prove myself, but I ended up missing some very important details. The project was delayed and I felt terrible. However, an older colleague of mine who could have easily said, "I told you so," instead came to me and said, "You know, next time you have a project like this, remember to consider X, Y, and Z." His wisdom saved me from making the same mistake again. I could have been knowledgeable about all the aspects of the project, but I lacked the practical wisdom to pull it all together successfully. Friends, we live in a world full of knowledge, but sometimes we need to stop, pause, and seek wisdom. The Bible tells us that wisdom is something that is given by God. If you ask for it, He will give it to you. In James chapter 1, verse 5, it says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him." God wants to work in your life. He wants to guide you and direct you. All you have to do is ask. But here's the catch. You won't find wisdom in TikTok videos or reels. Wisdom is deeper than that. It's something that you have to seek and pursue. It's a treasure that awaits you, but you have to go after it. So what should you do if you feel like you need more wisdom in your life? First, humble yourself before God and admit that you don't know everything. Second, read the Psalms, Proverbs, and the book of James. These books talk a lot about wisdom. Third, spend time in prayer. Ask God to open your spiritual eyes and ears. Pray for understanding. And fourth, surround yourself with wise people. Spend time with people who know God and who have a good track record of making sound decisions. Knowledge is essential, but wisdom is transformative. While knowledge can inform us, wisdom shapes our character and guides our actions. May we all choose wisdom today and every day. I hope this message has blessed you. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel. We release new videos each week. Thank you so much for watching.